Next question is from Colin Self. If you had to build a personal training business from scratch, how would you do it?
You know what? Okay, so first off, I'll say a good thing about personal training certifications. They've gotten good in the sense that, and they've gotten good for a while now, where they can really teach movement and they can teach assessments and they can teach exercise technique. And some of them are even good with exercise programming. Not a lot, but some of them. But the place where they lack completely is in teaching trainers how to build their business. Mm-hmm. I used to get all these really educated trainers that would come work for me with multiple certifications, and they just couldn't build a business for the life of them because nobody ever taught them. So that's how I'd have to spend all my time teaching them and training them on how to do that. Now, we work with NCI, and one of the reasons why we work with NCI is they are an online certification, nutrition certification course, but they also have a business building side where they teach you how to build your business. So if a friend of mine came to me and said this, that's where I would point them. I'd say, go to NCI, go through their business building course because it's very, very complete. They really walk you from where you're at to where you want to be, and they have a great track record.
Oh, so, I don't think they're just complete. I think they're the best in the business. I really do. I mean, that's obviously a main reason why we had partnered up with them is I think Jason's done an incredible job teaching people how to apply like the stuff that you learn. Like there's a lot of things you can learn in national certifications. You can hire a mastermind group where you have a mentor and they, even us, we can sit here and preach to you all day long. Like, oh, you should do this and oh, you should do that. But Jason's team is very tactical about like step one, you're going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Okay. Now that you've completed that, now we want you to do boop, 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 boop. Now that you complete that, now we'll do this. And then you get to go and like measure, okay, now we want you to run this, see what happens. And you go like, oh, holy crap. I got the most clients. Almost everybody I know that we've sent this way and gone through their courses, that has been their experience. Whether you are a brand new trainer or you're an experienced trainer, all of them reported back like, oh, when I went through it, I got more clients than I've ever had before. And so I really do believe that they're the best in the business.
Yeah, well, they flipped it on its head because now they teach you how to actually like make money, make a career out of it instead of like trying to get educated, eventually figure out, the business side of it and work your way to that point. But to be able to figure out exactly like, okay, how am I going to structure this in a way too, where I'm going to be able to have sustainable income and I can actually like increase that, but then, further my skills, get more educated. Like, that's a greater advantage of going in that direction than just kind of just going the personal trainer route.
Yeah. Now another thing you could do, and we've recommended this before to trainers, if you're a brand new trainer, there's a lot of value in working at a big box gym. Mm-hmm. A lot of value. I think it would be a mistake for a brand new trainer, unless you had a really good mentor, you had really good training, and you had somebody there kind of helping you. It'd be a mistake to go to a private studio or try and just start from scratch and build a business. Like, good luck. But you go to a big box gym, they have systems in place, they have leads, and there's other trainers that are going to be more experienced than you that you can learn from in those in a big box. So I think a big box is a great place to build and learn how to build a personal training business. And then from there, then you can go and grow and do other things, but really prove yourself in that model first.
And now you have MAPS programs, right? So that would have been something huge that I could at least have a baseline and foundation to then modify with each individual client. Totally. So it would actually help structure a lot of, the rest of your year based off of like, utilizing that and also customizing it.
The thing I want to add to because we give the advice to work in a big box gym a lot, and all of us 100% agree on that. And the part of that you want to do in addition to surrounding yourself around these other peers and learning from them and pick others is also ask questions to the GM and your fitness manager about how the business operates. Like, to me, that was one of the most valuable things that I got there. Was not only did I learn, as this young 19-year-old boy that was thrusted into this business with everybody who was more educated, more experienced, more fit than I was. And so it was this great learning ground from my peers. But then I also hung around my fitness manager and my boss all the time and was like so curious on like, how much money does our gym spend on advertising every single month? And how many people work out in this gym every single day and every single month? And what's a slow month and what's a good month? And how many like appointments do we see every day? Like, that, like, if you're trying to scale and build your own business, going and working for a commercial sized gym that does millions, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on what big box gym you go for, there's so much to learn about scaling a business through asking questions on how that business operates currently. And it gives you a whole different perspective around things that you will then have to learn to do if you're going to build a business. Because being a successful personal trainer isn't just being educated and good with people and knowing how to sell personal training.
No, that's like you have to do that. No matter what.
Exactly. You have to be able to do that to survive.
Like, you better do that.
But if most people that ask questions like this or that go to NCI, like, they have aspirations to build something. Like, I want to build a business or a company, or at least a small business that's successful and makes good money. And if that's the case, when you work at a big box gym, just don't go through the motions of training clients and hanging out with your peers and getting better at training and selling per se, but also learn about the intricacies about the business. And I feel like so many trainers don't do this. It's why when I manage trainers, it would baffle me on so many of them that they get in there for a year or so. They got some clients working for them. They quickly find out, oh, the company takes half of my hourly and stuff like that.
Now they know everything.
Yeah. And oh man, if I just collected all of that, I'd have a successful business. And then they just think, oh, they didn't think about, a brick and mortar location, the millions of dollars of advertising they're doing, the thousands of hours of workouts they're having a day, the operations side, like the billing, like
it's literally like it reminds me of when you get like a teenager that's like, well, I could get a job here and make this much. The average rent I could just move out. This will be super easy. And parents are like, okay, I'll see you in a few months.
Totally.
There's a lot of unknowns you have no idea about.
Totally. So you work at a big box gym, man. At one point, whether you're at Lifetime, Crunch, 24-Hour Fitness, you name it, at one point, that was one little gym. That was one guy or girl who had a dream, who built that thing, that built it into a big franchise or a big company, and then built it into hundreds of locations. And so there's so much to potentially absorb and learn while you're there, in addition to you're surrounded by peers.
Let me just back you up, okay? So we all started in big box. And if it wasn't for, and we were lucky enough to work in a big box gym that really led the way, and in its heyday had some of the best people in the world in the fitness space. The company's changed since then, but back then 24-Hour Fitness was like, at the Mark Mastroff at the helm. Like, this was training ground. I only worked there for a few years, but those few years, because after that I had my own place and all that stuff. But those few years to this day, there's things that I learned there that are a big part of my success. A big part of my success. So. We're not just saying this because we don't work with a big box company or there's no gym that we work with, but it's one of the best things you could do is go there and learn. And if you're in there and you're not taking advantage, like Adam's saying, you are literally, it's the stupidest thing you could do. There's so many things around you in a big box gym and so many systems and things you can learn that'll make you successful if you just ask. It's insane.
I hate to keep dragging this on. It's a question I'm super passionate about, because I think a lot of trainers make this mistake. Is they'll shop gyms they work at, and the things that make their decision is like, who's going to pay me more money, or what has the coolest equipment.
Yeah, what's the newest looking gym?
Yeah, like this. Like, do not think of, like, you're just starting this career. You're gonna, before you become great at it, it's gonna be 10,000 hours. So to be like worrying about the pay of $5 or $10 or $15 up or down, like, that's irrelevant. Like, I'm looking for the place where I can learn the most.
That's
in that first 5 years. Like, who can? So for me, when I'm getting interviewed or I'm looking at gyms, like, I'm looking at who's my boss going to be, how is that company ran, how successful is that business? Because I can make $5 or $10 more here or there. To me, that is nowhere in comparison as valuable as being able to learn from either someone or learn from a company that has done such a good job in that area, because the education you're going to get is going to be invaluable in comparison to, how much am I going to make or where am I going to get the most amount of clients. So keep that in mind when you're looking for a place like this.
Oh, by the way, NCI, I need to mention this. Doug was pulling it up. They have this like boot camp. I think it's free, where they go and they talk about some of the most controversial things in health right now and fitness. So like cold plunge, testosterone therapy. There was a couple other things where they go and they dive deep into the science. It's free.
That's cool.
So whatever.
It's a free webinar.
It's a free webinar.
A series of webinars.
Yeah. It's ncimindpump.com/controversy. This is actually a really cool one.
Is the webinar live now, or is it going live soon?
It's going to be live. So they have specific dates you need to attend.
Okay.